Like, it's easy to stay on the straight and narrow. That's why it's so important for us as men to have people who are aligned with you or who are, positive influences for you, because just like so hyper focused on, like, being the best person that you can be, being goal driven, being purposeful, being all these different ways, that influences me whether if I'm on the right track or not. Do you feel what I'm saying? Like, having good people around you is naturally going to make you a better person. And I think and it's not even like anything competing or anything like that. It's more of motivation. You know what I'm saying? So that's like, the majority of people that you're around is what you're going to end up like. So I'd rather be around a whole bunch of high value men rather than being around a whole bunch of people that, don't really have any purpose behind anything that they do. I know relationships are going to come with problems, but I just want to deal with the least amount of stuff as possible, bro. Mm-hmm. Because with my woman, with your woman, you should want it to be as simple as possible. Like, yeah, you're going to argue about things like, why are you leaving the toilet seat up? Why is the cap off the toothpaste? Like, stuff. You guys are going to argue about stupid stuff. Like, it's going to happen, you know? But there should never be arguments about loyalty. There should never be arguments about, trust. Like, these are things that, like you should have good intentions coming into it. Like, hey, I want to be with this person. I'm dating to marry. Or, hey, I don't want to date this person. We're just X, Y, and Z. You know what I mean? You and your partner should be on the same page.
Yeah.
Like, regardless. And for me, I want someone who is least problematic and understanding.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? If you could provide me with, loyalty, if you can provide me with trust, like, I feel like I could trust you and you genuinely looking out for me, like, hey, regardless, I know the good side of you, I know the bad side of you, I'm choosing to be with you, like, and, like, choosing to invest in this person, I appreciate that stuff. God fearing, has morals, like, that's all things that are so attractive to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because, that's what I'm starting to see is, like, I've been doing all this research, experience, and just common sense. It's like the hedonistic ways that we've been programmed to be now. Everything is about literally what makes us feel good, like chasing happiness, live your life, have fun. But that is literally what's causing the pain. That's what's causing depression. That's what's causing disease. That's what's causing, like, all these mental health issues, all these, like, damaged relationships. People are, like, self-sabotaging relationships. Literally the word self-sabotaging your relationships with, like, your partner, to your friends, to your parents. It's like everything's about me, me, me. And before it was more like, the bigger picture of things. You sacrifice going out to the club so you can take your family out in the morning, so you can go for a run, so you can maybe eat better in the morning. You got work to do. Now it's like, no, I'd rather just go have fun, live my life. Later on I'll start a family. Later on I'll start my career. And I feel like that's the problem, because you act like you're gonna live here 100 years. Like, you don't know. You're not. You can't even control. You can only control so much. You could even take care of yourself fully and then get hit by a truck the next day. Like, you just never know. So that's why it's like, we have this, like, desire within us to do these, like, universal truths, like starting a family, being kind, being charitable, spreading a message, getting closer to God, being at peace and content with yourself, not chasing, like, happiness, like these short, fulfilling things. And that's what's going on, man. Like, you're a consumer. You're almost a product to a lot of companies, even from the foods that you eat to the clothes that you wear to the colognes to the perfumes to social media. Like, all these things are causing you to almost prioritize yourself to the point of self-destruction. And that's why it's so important. Like, we need to really, like, empower ourselves and seek the truth. Like, we need to really stop looking at what we've been told. Like, you need to, like, rewire, destroy all these ideas that literally is causing you harm. And nobody does that. People just, like, have beliefs but no knowledge. People have knowledge but no belief in their knowledge. Like people don't apply nothing no more. People just read a book, affirmations like I'm gonna get money. I'm gonna I'm gonna be happy. Like you're just telling yourself all that all day, but yeah, you're doing things that is not gonna make you happy, and you're doing things that is literally damaging you. But that's the problem, bro. It's like I see that all the time. I see these people struggling. Like ever since I like became Muslim and really closing my relationship with God, like that has literally what I don't have no. I've dealt with some stuff in my life. Like I've struggled. I shared on the podcast. Like I had things happen to me as a young child. I had things happen to me as a teenager. My mom leaving a big chunk out of my life. My dad having to work, having no structure, going to because I wasn't applying myself at a young age, and I was lost and just in my emotions, and I was just out of control, no guidance. I went to like special ed for a year, bro. Like, and then there's a lot of things, drinking a lot, doing drugs to a certain extent. Never injections though. I don't play with that type of stuff. But like, weed, cocaine, party drugs, like alcohol, chasing women, promiscuity, having sex, talking to multiple women, all watching TV, watching too much TV, wasting time with like wasteful entertainment. All these things like literally was distracting me and making me just go all over the place. But then once I found God, it then created structure of like the way how to live life. Like there's a reason why we made it this far, and it's because God has been involved. And like people don't know, right? It's like it's not just like you need to definitely have a belief in God, but for the people who are like logical thinkers, those people that be like, oh, I don't believe in God because I don't see it. How could God be real if kids are getting raped and human trafficked and all that stuff, right? People forget this is a human flaw. Like God gave us the choice of will, like the choice to make a decision, the choice to get away from our temptations, the urges, and he has put it in the Bible. He's put it in the Quran and all the holy scriptures that literally exposes you to what happens if you don't follow these guidelines. Like if you always use intoxicants, if you drink alcohol, what it does for you. Not only are you drinking alcohol, but it impairs your judgment. There's proven studies. Everybody knows, like, you could be the most holiest person. You could be vegan, and then you drink alcohol, and now you're eating meat. You could be holy and believe in God, and you're in a monogamous relationship. You drink alcohol, and now you're out there cheating. Like, that literally is the reason why they try to get you away from drinking alcohol and stuff like that, and a lot of other things, too. But when you remove God, you remove all the things that are in those like holy scriptures that make you follow in the straight path to full contentment and full true happiness in life. But when you get away from that, you remove God, you remove what's a man, what's a woman, you remove how charitable you should be, you remove how you should love this woman dearly, how you, as a woman, you should support your man, and he's the man of the house. He should be supporting you and leading you and giving you a family, giving you everything that you need to be happy and content in real life. You remove all that stuff, and now we're all hedonistic. We're all searching for our own pleasures and desires. Like, we keep tapping the mouse feeder, and we keep going for more. It's like dopamine hits. Like, we're like damn near drug addicts that are chasing that one high. And, like, you see it too. Like, I don't know, like what are some things that you think that you see nowadays that you see people struggling? Like, whether if it's, like, women in relationships, men in relationships, like, in society, like, what do you see? Like, I don't know, from your take at least. That was a lot I just gave, so.
Something I see that's pretty common is, people, not being loyal in relationships. I see that quite often. Cheating and not being monogamous is pretty much like common now. And it's more about like doing what you feel and chasing chasing where your heart's, telling you to go. And, if you really know, like the Bible, the heart is the most treacherous thing that you can follow, because your heart might tell you to do something that might not logically be smart, or it might logically put you in danger. It might logically put you, in jail. You know what I mean? Like, so I think the most common thing that I'm seeing right now is, people aren't like standing on any morals. They don't have any guidance. They don't really, know what they want, but, what looks good is being in a relationship. what looks good is having a woman, having a man, and obviously they still want to live a single life. People want to be in a relationship, be married, but do the exact same thing that they were doing when they were single. So the question I asked for that is like why want to do those things? Like, why still want to be in the club? Why still want to do these things, like, away from your partner? Go on these girls trips, go on these trips and do these things and meet new people and do all this stuff, but you are investing into a person. You got kids and you have a husband, but you're more focused on, going to Miami than providing for your family or watching your kids or any of that stuff. Why night is more important than kicking back and enjoying time with your family, the very limited time that you have. So I'd say the most common thing that I'm seeing right now is like kind of like the single vibe culture, but everybody being in relationships.
Damn. Yeah. See, and I feel like people don't even know why they do what they do. Some people just like, are like almost programmed to just do things. Like they don't even understand where like stuff like came from. Like people just do things and don't even know like the history of it. It's like, women are putting makeup. Like where did that come from? Why do you put makeup on? Like, is that, your biggest contributor of like, just because you look good, does that mean you're a good person? Like we forget like the insides. We forget like even for men too, it's kind of like, if you're working out to look good, like, well, why are you looking good for? Are you trying to just look good for women, or are you trying to just actually be healthy, be optimal, be strong? Like if somebody needs for you to open the jar, you have that capability, you're not flimsy. If you were to get in a fight and you need to protect your family and you're going to get somebody that's bigger than you, like, do you have the confidence to do it? It's like, I think we don't realize like why we do what we do and why we do it for. And I feel like there's like universal truths, like, you have to be very purposeful and intentional for like what you do every day, or else you're doing things for like a projection of yourself. Like, you're just looking good just to look good, or just to like, engage in like promiscuity, or you're trying to look good because you feel good, and then you could take the tasks on for the day. It makes you feel confident about yourself. But it should never be to the point where you do like surgical operations on yourself. And, to each his own. But I mean, you see like women are dying with getting BBLs, like it's a sad thing that happened to DC Young Fly, like his wife. And like, that's something that's heartbreaking, bro. Like just to get a BBL, now your wife is gone just for what has been projected onto her with social media. Her other friends are getting it. Everybody's like trying to get this certain look, this certain aesthetic, because you'll get more Instagram followers, you'll get more looks, you'll feel good about yourself wearing this one piece of clothing that has fabrics that are not even good to be on your skin, that's causing you to get sick. Like people don't even realize like things like polyester in men, like when men wear like underwear that's polyester 100%, they don't realize like there has been studies on certain fabrics that can cause cancer. And for men, it's like prostate, genital cancer, and like stuff like that. Like you don't even look at like what you do. And I don't blame them. I don't put it past them. I'm still figuring out things, but it's kind of like you have to really like, why are you eating this food? Why are you talking this way? Like, why is your life? Why am I taking antidepressants? Why am I just self-proclaiming myself as depressed and a sad person? It's kind of like, what am I doing to get here? And like, I think that's what we don't do a lot. We don't reflect. We don't think no more. We're just like consumers. We just take. Give me. Shove food underneath our mouth. Have sex, like wasting energy and stuff like that. Like do things that like are literally destroying us and causing us to die at an early age. Whether if it's sickness, whether if it's engaging in like going to nightlife events, like we're literally destroying ourselves and like putting ourselves in like situations where our life is like unfulfilling, and like we're causing like almost our own demise. Yeah, you got something to laugh about over there, huh?
No.
It's the food in my mouth.
I'm trying to be an adult, bro.
As soon as I heard the shoving food in my mouth, I was like, God dang it. See, we could be funny and then be serious.
I'm trying to be an adult, bro. But the way you be saying some things, you're like, yeah, just shoving the food in my mouth. Like, bro, like that's crazy.
See, we could be serious and we could still joke around. Yeah. I think we need that sometimes. I feel like sometimes our podcast will be so serious. Like, so like,
and then I'm just fucking crying, laughing on the side.
We need to do that more, though. But it's true, though. Like, we, like, all that stuff even being said, bro, like, you should, like, you shouldn't take life so serious. But you should, like, you know, have fun. You know, go on vacation. Like, having fun doesn't mean getting drunk. Having fun doesn't have to be that. Having fun doesn't mean going to the clubs all the time or going to the bars or, like, you know, doing, like, taking drugs. Like, having fun is literally starting a family. Like, having fun could literally be, like, being with your partner, going hiking, you know, doing some organic shit, like, you know, getting smoothies or something, like, or having just good conversations without the alcohol. Like, you know, I'm not against alcohol. Like, I still, even, it's haram, but that's something that I'm still working through. But, you know, if the worst thing that I'm doing is drinking alcohol, then I feel like that's something I could work with God. And as long as I'm doing everything else right, like, I'm trying to be a better person, I want to start a family, I'm trying to follow the straight path, but the worst thing I do is drink alcohol, then, you know, I just pray for God's mercy and that he can see my intentions at least. But it's not an excuse, you know, like, you know, alcohol is fun and stuff like that, you know, but at the same time, you realize you're escaping reality. That's really what it is. It feels good. You're not really thinking about, like, you know, what's going on in the world. You're distracting yourself. So you gotta try to find a balance, though.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I think in a lot of ways, having you around or having you in my close circle, like, it's easy to stay on the straight and narrow. That's why it's so important for us as men to have people who are aligned with you or who are, you know, positive influences for you, because just like you know, so hyper focused on, like, you know, being the best person that you can be, being goal driven, being purposeful, being all these different ways, that influences me whether if I'm on the right track or not. Do you feel what I'm saying? Like, having good people around you is naturally going to make you a better person. And I think and it's not even like anything competing or anything like that. It's more of motivation. You know what I'm saying? So that's like, you know, the majority of people that you're around is what you're going to end up like. So I'd rather be around a whole bunch of high value men rather than being around a whole bunch of people that, you know, don't really have any purpose behind anything that they do. So I that's why when you're talking about your faith and you're talking about, you know, all these things, like, I gravitate towards that because it comes with, you know, a closer connection with God, like grinding, like getting to a better point, constant improvement. And, you know, I aspire to be on that same path, like the not drinking thing, bro. I know we both went a super long time without drinking, bro. Like, remember, we were on, I think, because I had went 6 months, bro, and I never in my life thought that I could possibly get to that point. But I'm like, it started with a thought. Me and you talking about it, us discussing it, like, hey, like, you talking about, like, the negative effects of alcohol, me talking about the negative effects, and, like, off camera having these conversations. And then me just, you know what? Okay, I'm going to try it. You know, because you started it and you were like, yeah, man, I haven't drank for this long and woo woo. But I'm like, damn, maybe I should try too. And that turned into a 6-month stint. You feel what I'm saying? So, like, you know, you will get to that point to where it's like, I know right now it's just like, okay, you might drink every once in a while, but it's like, I know you're going to get to a point where it's like, you don't even need it. And now, instead of drinking, it's exercise. Instead of drinking, it's reading the Bible or Quran or investing that time into your kids or whatever it may be, because yeah, alcohol is, you know, an escape. Or maybe instead of, you know, drinking, it might be, I don't know, drinking tea. It might be something like that. So just the constant improvement is, and having people around you like that is so critical, especially, like, you know, just to be a better person. You know, because you don't want to be around, you know, someone who's dragging. It's people that are going to drag you down and not let you reach the optimal position that you know you can be.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing too. Is like, I want to, like, not be these people that I once was. Is you just wake up and you don't even know what you're going to do today. You just wake up confused. You, instead of going for a run or having something structured or have this lifestyle you've created, you just wake up and the first thing you do is pull up your phone and you start scrolling for like hours or 30 minutes or 45 minutes before then you get up. You're like, okay, like, I guess I gotta go take a shower, brush my teeth, and then you play video games or you watch TV, or then you just go grab something to eat somewhere else, and then you come back home and you chill and you smoke or you drink alcohol, or you work out only for an hour and then you come back home and then you do the same thing again tomorrow. Then, oh look, I gotta go to work. Like I did that for so long and I hated it. And I was just like, I'm not healthy. I'm not where I want to be. I feel like shit all the time. I always say I want to do this, but then I never do it because I'm always just solely focused on, I just like tomorrow I just want to do this. But then I eat like shit, sleep like shit, drink stuff like that's not good for me. I'm malnourished. I have no nutrients or vitamins in my body. I have no electrolytes and good water, and I feel like shit. And so like that's not helping me do the things that I need to do in the most optimal way if I would have felt better, And so that's what I've been doing. I'm trying to create a lifestyle that I love. Like I want to create a lifestyle that every day I look forward to. Like every morning I take Isayak tea. It's like a very good it's like 8 herbs that are inside there that have been proven to help restore your body to its most optimal health by fighting diseases, fighting cancer, and also giving you the vitamins and minerals that your body needs. Because bro, like example, it's Haram, but yesterday I drank now I'm not trying to like advocate for you to like do this because I won't have a hangover, right? Like you shouldn't really want to do that, but I drank yesterday and I knew like tomorrow I'm going to feel like shit. But since I started doing this lifestyle where I take my Isayak tea, I bought it from this website. I boiled it myself for 10 minutes. I put it in the refrigerator. Now it lasts me for like 2 weeks. I just grab a cup, drink 3 ounces twice a day, drink 1 in the morning, drink 1 in the afternoon. Plus I have my sea moss gel that I bought also from somebody that's ethical and is very transparent of how they make their stuff and how rich and nutritious their sea moss is. I take that, a spoonful, take that too. I take my liquid IV. I have Crystal Geyser water, some of the best water you can get at a store. Even though it's in plastic, I'm figuring out a system to get better water through a more optimal way of doing it. I'm still researching that part, but I'm drinking good water. I'm taking my herbs. I also have my other herbs that I get from like the Fig Tree Health Group that has been proven. Dr. Sebi's first proven formula with Ama, which is his, I think his second wife, that have been proven with those herbs to help. That how Dr. Sebi went to the New York Supreme Court and proved that he was curing people with all these diseases that people still suffer today with these herb supplements. I've been taking those. They're all vitamins and minerals that your body needs. It's not just some voodoo woo-woo tinfoil hat like this is gonna help you. Like it's actually proven to literally like help you in your body. Like your body needs these stuff, because if you don't have iron or you don't have iodine, you have thyroid issues. If you don't have iron, your body's your blood's anemic, like all these things. Like, and we think that we need certain pills, like we need a ibuprofen. Like if you have a headache, you're not having a lack of ibuprofen in your body. You have a headache because your body's trying to signal to you that you're missing nutrients. Your body's like suffering. You're feeding all this nonsense, drinking all this like useless dead water, Dasani, shade. Like you're drinking all these like Aquafina, these nasty ass water, like that's not good for you. You're literally drinking tap water in a plastic bottle, basically. A lot of people don't educate themselves and know that. And me, I'm trying to create a lifestyle, not only for me, but to pass down to the women in my life, my family, my siblings, my friends. I'm trying to create a lifestyle so then I could teach like, hey, here, this is proven because I'm proof of it. And I'm creating this lifestyle for every day because I look forward to it. You know why I look forward to it? Because I feel real fucking good. That's why. Like, bro, I'm telling you, like I drank yesterday, right? I drank like 4 tall cans, which is not good. I don't know why I did it. I just fell into it. Not good, right? And I was expecting myself to feel like shit the next morning. But I created this lifestyle that I've been doing for the last few weeks. And I took all the same things that I did every day. I don't have no hangover. My head's not throbbing like how it normally would. I'm not having like no chest pains, no nothing like that. My body's not doing nothing that's like triggering me to feel like shit, you know? Bro, I feel like I didn't even drink. Now, I'm not saying to like keep drinking every day and just keep doing this lifestyle. Like, you know, I'm just trying to work my way from not drinking. But I'm more focused on creating a lifestyle than I am just waking up and like whatever I got to do today or just have no clue, you know, because that's the reason why you're depressed. That's the reason why life sucks. That's the reason why life is not fulfilling. That's the reason why you do these little hedonistic small things every day to just get through the day, like drinking and stuff, taking drugs, going to parties. Instead, like I want to just feel good about myself and feel good physically, mentally, health wise. And then I start to realize like, damn, man, the whole times I felt like shit, the whole time I was depressed, it was because of how I was living my life and what I was eating, what I was drinking, how often I was eating, and how I was thinking. And once I changed all that throughout the years, bro, I was at one point where I thought about committing suicide. I hated my life. I didn't like where I was going. I didn't like the relationship I was in. I didn't like the way my family was. And then the moment I just started looking into fasting, food, nutrition, all that stuff, changing, exercising, the way I thought, believing in myself that I can do this, bro, my life has been the best it has ever been. And like then to piece all together in my relationship with God, like studying the Quran, watching, you know, hundreds of hours of videos of like the way of Islam, the way of life, how you should live it and what has been proven to help people, like stay away from these things that like distract you. Bro, I've never felt better.
And one question I have for you, since you've, you know, started studying the Quran and getting a relationship with God, remember those anxiety attacks you used to get? You have not got any of those, right? Because we haven't, bro. You haven't brought that up, bro. I don't even know how long it's been. Because I remember the last time we had talked about it, you were in the movie theater and you were watching the new Spider-Man or Avengers. Was it Avengers? It was a new Spider-Man, and you were talking about like how like you couldn't even finish the movie because out of nowhere you had a panic attack. And that was before, it was pre all this stuff that was going on, and we didn't know if it was the alcohol, we didn't know if it was things that you've been through. It could have been a mixture of everything, but it's crazy how grounded God has made you, you know. And with a lot of things, it's like people go their whole life without even knowing, and then build a relationship with God, and it does fix a lot of problems. Having that foundation does, in a lot of ways, put you in a position to where like it settles you, you know what I mean? And knowing even stuff that's out of your hands, it gives you comfort knowing like, you know, it's going to be handled by a higher power, giving it to the man upstairs, you know? And I feel like in a lot of ways, all that anxiety and pressure that was on you, yeah, there's still pressure on you, but a lot of it has been subsided since then.
Yeah, I truly do believe like for people who don't believe in God or like think religion's you know, not real and it's a scam or all that stuff, like look, at least look at what God does for people, because when you believe in God, you believe in the you know, you're Jehovah's Witness, you're a Christian, you're a Muslim, all these other religions. When you believe in God, it makes you eat better, it makes you sleep better, it makes you think better, it makes you treat your family better, it makes you be a better person. You have a idea that what you do here on this earth impacts you, God's decision on whether you go to heaven or hell. And people might not believe in heaven and hell concept, but you don't know. Like if you live your life hedonistic, right? You do everything about you. You're sinning all the time. You're having wasteful sex. You're not procreating. You're just having sex to have sex. You're not even trying to have children. You're being promiscuous. You're eating super unhealthy. You're eating animal food products that have red dye in it that makes the meat look red. Like people don't realize, like when you cut meat and when you butcher meat, almost immediately it starts to turn to this gray pale color. So when you go to the stores and you get red meat, you do realize like there's color on those red meat to make it look like that. Even salmon, like if you look into that, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So like believing in God gives you a better life here on this earth, right? And let's say there is no heaven or hell, or maybe there is. I'd rather live my life believing there is heaven and hell and having full faith in it in the concept, the logical, because I'm a logical person. So at first, that's why I didn't believe in God. I didn't believe in the religion. I didn't believe like there's a heaven and a hell. I haven't seen God. I haven't felt God. I don't know what that is, right? And I used to think like that. But while I was thinking like that, I was always depressed. I'm always sad. Always having anxiety. Always short fulfilling things I would do. I'm having useless sex. I'm talking to multiple women. You start engaging in like drug activities just to chase a high. And this was before I didn't believe in God, or I didn't have this concept of what God is in religion. And like now that, if I could live my life that one way that I once lived, and then I didn't believe in God, God wasn't real, and let's say I die, and let's say I do meet God, and now he's showing me you should have believed the whole time. And now you're going to have to suffer through hellfire because of your decisions, right? Or, and now I'm living my life towards God, and let's say I do die, and there actually is a heaven and a hell, and God meets me, and by the will of by the mercy of him and my mistakes and the good things I did, he makes the right decision where I go to heaven and hell up to him. Or maybe you just die and it's just black, or you get reincarnated, you have no idea of this life, or maybe you just die and you just like asleep, gone. You're just gone, right? It's just like you sleep and you like those times when you sleep and there's no dreams. Maybe that's happens when you die, right? I don't know that, right? But I'd rather have the odds that there is heaven and hell and God decides where I go based on what I did on this earth. Or I just die and boom, and maybe there wasn't God, but at least I lived a very contentful life here and I was at peace with myself, than to go the other way and be hedonistic and be the man that created single mothers. I was a man that made bad women. I was a man that cheated my people. I was taking money from my family. I was always about just my own hedonistic ways, and it was always about me, and I didn't care about nobody, and I was cheating people. I was a scammer. I was ignorant. I was selfish. And then I die and maybe blank, and then maybe there is no heaven and hell. Like, I'd rather just live my life towards God because, bro, like how you said, I've had no mental health issues since I became closer to God. Like, I have no panic attacks, no anxiety. And when my body does trigger something, it tells me like, hey, you're falling off again. You're going astray. You're getting away from God. You're forgetting God. And so like every time I remind myself of God, it puts me right back to the path again. And I wish that for everybody. I really wish everybody would open their eyes and be open-minded to God. I don't care if you're Jehovah's Witness, Christianity, or Muslim. Like, I truly do believe you need to get a connection with God. Because if not, this is why you're depressed. This is why you're sad. This is why your life sucks. This is why you always complain. This is why you're ungrateful. This is why you always talk about the number of things that you could count on your hand of why life sucks. Because what happened to you as a child, what happened to you right now, because the boss, the big man, your career, your blah, 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 all these people that are in the way. You could choose to be that, but I just rather not. Like, I just see that people are suffering because of that, because their lack of God and structure. And like for you, like, I don't know, like, what are some things that you see too? Like, you're like, how has God helped you?
And this might sound a little like corny, but God's helped me in everything I've ever been successful in. The times I have not been successful in things is when I didn't apply God to it, or I didn't pray for it. So, when I was very, very young, I already had a relationship with God. Like, I used to always pray, and a lot of the times it was like praying, reading the Bible, reading literature, like learning about like Bible stories. Like, that was like things that I chose to do, and building that relationship and knowing like there's a higher power, and knowing through my faith, having a strong faith at a young age, like I prayed for things. I prayed when I was going through things. I prayed when I was sad, happy, grateful, when I, sinned or anything. Like I always prayed. So like when I was going through, school, because I've never been like real like studious, so like praying and to get through school, graduating high school, being able to go to a junior college, not having any money to go to college, like, him blessing me with the ability to play sports, blessing me with the ability to stay out of trouble, keep my head on straight. He's blessing me with a laser focus so that I can stay on the straight and narrow path and graduate from MJC and Modesto Junior College and play ball and do phenomenal, you know, praying before every single game that I could play the best of my ability and I could come out, you know, healthy, you know, and looking back on all of that, going to Lamar, you know, praying through things over there, you know, still trying to develop my relationship with God and my relationship, you know, with families, friends, and getting me through things that I couldn't have got through by myself, you know, death in the family and stuff like that. You know, he's guided me through all my trials and tribulations. And like, that's why it's like, for me, it's like, it's not a if, it's that I know from the results of my life. And like getting to that point and playing pro ball and, you know, never being the type to talk and being able to have a platform to talk now and having the podcast, you know, I'm in a position right now to where it's like, I never thought I'd be able to cut hair. You know, he's blessing me with the, like, once again, with the laser focus. So I can, like, I'm learning, building clientele. I'm, you know, my own boss. I'm heading in the entrepreneurial path. You know, it's all a blessing, and like, hey, he works with me every day, and you know, I'm struggling with a lot of stuff, but I'm just so grateful where I am right now. I've, you know, the whole time I've played football, I've never had a serious injury. You know, like, considering I got out playing football for, you know, 18 years, I never had a serious injury. You feel what I'm saying? Like, that's unheard of. And considering like how long I played and how often I played, like this was my first year out of football, out of my whole life. You know, since I was 9 years old or 8 years old. You feel what I'm saying? So this has been a long journey, and you know, I'm just thankful for all the stuff that I've accomplished through him and the strength that he's bestowed upon me, because like, without him, bro, like, school wise, like getting paid to go to school, like being able to graduate, knowing I'm not good at it, it just, you know, it was all him. Like, he's guided me this whole way and kept me strong. So, you know, he's 100%. You know, I always give glory to him for everything I've accomplished in my life.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that helped me with God was like the belief that like, oh, I can, I will, I must. Like, I feel like when you read like the Holy Scripture and stuff like that, like it does talk about like the stories of the prophets and like how you should like do things in life, like what gets in the way, the temptations. Like, what I got a lot from was like, look, these things are gonna get in the way, but you know what you gotta do. Stay away from this, and you can. So it's like, that's why I got like, I can, I will, I must, from everything that I want to do, because we're living in some like wicked times. Like, there's like a lot of stuff that's going on, like you see on social media and like other parts of the world, or even in your city, or like around, like not that far away from you. Like, they are trying to literally program us to accept things that goes against God. So what goes against God is like, you know, pedophiles, promoting sexuality, eliminating creation, eliminating the nuclear family. Like, you know, they're trying to force us to accept things that goes against God. And for people that are like, oh, well, if it's all about God, like, you know, that's very selfish, I'm not religious, stuff like that. Okay, let's remove God, but let's talk about the social construct of what happens when you're teaching kids of sexuality, when you're saying kids could change their gender, and as a parent you have nothing to say. If they want to, they can, and you got to be the one to pay for it. And then you also, those kids are going to have to pay for it when they get older, because you know why? Because their mind is going to change. Things are going to change. What they once felt when they were younger is not how they're going to feel when they're older. And then two, it's like, what's next? Okay, well, before it used to be 18 or maybe 16 in certain states where you can get married. Well, if the person's 10 years old and they want to get married to a 45-year-old, it's okay now. Like, that's literally where there's no line. There's no, and like, AKA, you're removing God from it, you know? And like, we're forcing things on kids. We're trying to destroy women's priorities in life that actually really give full fulfillment, and not about, you know, hedonism, ways of life, and be a boss babe, dedicate your life to a career and a company instead of a family. Like, I've seen it destroy people. I've seen older women lose their jobs that they dedicated 40 years, have no children, and they get laid off, and all they get was like a thank you and can you come to the office and pick up your stuff. Like, that is horrifying, and I think a lot of women don't see the truth in that. Like, if you want a career, that's fine. You want to work, that's fine, but prioritize family first. Have a career after. You can have a career after if that really is meaningful, but you'll see when you have kids that nothing is more greater in life than to have your own offspring, having your own child you can raise, a little part of you that you can create to be a better person for the world that you see as lacking. Like, and even as a man, for me, like, that changed. Like, I just want to, for me, there's no way in hell I'm gonna make any woman like a single mother. Like, I really want to create a family unit, and it all starts with me as a man, like, creating the structure of like what I want in a marriage, what I want in a woman that's gonna have my child, and that's by giving them the direct instructions of like, look, I want to get married, right? This is what I need and what I want, and there's no swaying, and there's no my mind's gonna change later on or whatever. No, like, this is what I want in a marriage, this is what I want in a wife, and this is what I want in the mother of my children, is to take care of my child, be a full-time mother. If you want to work and you want to have a career, try to balance it out, but you have to realize that's not really important. My whole goal is to like provide, protect, and nurture my my woman and my family and my household, so they don't have to work. If you want to work, you get to work. If you want to work, you can work. But really, I need a woman that's more focused on the kids and the children than a fucking career. Like, if that's you, and maybe if that's a woman that I'm with, and then I share that, and they're like, oh, I don't really want that, that's fine. We're not for each other. Please move on. Like, that's it. Like, I'm not sitting here to try to force somebody to like think that I'm manipulating or I'm grooming, or like, that's not what I want. That's fine, but we don't got to be with each other. Well, that's selfish of you, blah, blah, blah. Like, look, I know what I want, and I know what works. I understand that you're caught up in like the programming of social media and keeping up with the Kardashians did, and your other friends that don't really have the best intentions for you, but for themselves, and they want you to have fun, drink, and turn up all the time, go to Miami, go to these clubs. That's cool. Go ahead and do that, but I don't need you. I don't want a woman like that. I will never wish that upon you if that's not what you want either. I'm not going to force you, but this is what I want, and if this is not what you want, then let's break it off now. If you maybe need help seeing it through your own ideologies and see the truth, then I'm here to help and educate you and guide you to the truth, because a lot of people are confused. A lot of people don't even know what the hell they want, and this is why they suffer. And they're prioritizing, live your life, have fun, do all this, do all that, and then look how they look though. Look at their life. They're always tired, they're always sad, they're always depressed, very unfulfilling. They have to do the same thing 100 times every other day just to have fun again and escape reality. It's kind of like I don't know, man. I don't want no woman like that. I wouldn't want my daughter to be like that, and I wouldn't raise my son to engage with a woman like that. And I feel like the lack of structure is creating like this confusion in people nowadays.
Yeah, that's for sure. To say the very least, there's confusion.
Yeah, for real.
Like you can walk up to an interview, a random person, and just talk about the basics of morality or what's morally right, and a lot of people just the mentality that they have with certain things is just, it's not there, bro. They never had a foundation, and everyone goes off how they feel, and it's a very chaotic reality.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you want to talk about the Keke Palmer thing?
Oh my god!
way to turn
bro, it. That's one of them ones. When I originally seen the video. So let me just explain the video.
Yeah.
Though. Okay. So first of all, Usher's having his concert. It is what it is. He's a performer. He does his thing. It's Usher. Everybody loves Usher. I get it. Everyone's there with their spouse or whatever. Keke, she's there with her friends, whatever. And from the clip I seen, first of all, for me personally, looking at it, like seeing what she was wearing was just kind of like, you know, it was real borderline. You know, I get it. You're a celebrity. You know, y'all, you know, she probably got paid to wear that dress. You know what I mean? You never know. But she was wearing a real revealing dress, like cheeks out. Like
they were out.
Cheeks out. So she, you know, was approached by Usher. Usher's going around the crowd, you know, basically, you know, singing to a lot of the women, you know, vibing, whatever. And he comes up to her and, you know, she's, you know, looking at him and she gets up and she starts dancing. First of all, she turns around and shows him, like she knows her cheeks is out. So she turns around and shows him the cheeks, like, then turns back around, starts dancing, goes up to him, puts her arms around him, like hugging him, like her arms is up, his hands is down, like
they're like
her
touching
waist.
each other though. They're like
yeah, like chest to chest,
yeah,
right. And mind you, they're as close as I am to this mic, bro. You feel what I'm saying? Like damn near kissing already.
Mm-hmm.
And you know he's singing and he lets her sing for a second. She's holding on to him. He's holding on to her. Like mind you, this is a married mother, right? And you know my first reaction before I even seen you know the comments or anything, my first reaction was like, she's wrong. Regardless of what y'all want to say, she's wrong. That's a mother. That is a wife. She's in the wrong. That needs to be corrected. But as I go to the comments, one of the first things that, you know, I seen was, you know, the husband actually spoke up and said something like when it was posted and was basically saying like, you know, it's not just the fact that they're, you know, hugging and stuff like that, but it's also how she's dressed. So he might not have seen how she went out, you know, to the concert, you know, and I know he wasn't prepared for that because in my opinion, I feel like she publicly embarrassed him. Now y'all are married, y'all made that dedication, y'all have a kid together, like, and you chose, like we were talking about earlier, your feelings and how you felt at that time over the importance of your family. So, you know, after seeing all the comments and stuff like that and me doing my own analyzation, I started doing a little digging and like now they're getting divorced. He filed for divorce because of that. And there was a whole bunch of women backing her like, it's not that serious. They're just putting on a show. It is what it is. She's living, she's having a good time. I get it. And that's why a lot of women aren't married. You feel what I'm saying? Like, that's part of the problem. You feel me? And the fact that you can look at that and be like, no, she's fine, whoop, whoop. If roles were reversed and Beyonce was giving a dude that was married a lap dance, he would have been crucified. And his wife made a comment on it. Yeah, like, leave him, whoop, whoop, he ain't shit, yada, yada, yada. But you got a woman that's married grinding on Usher. It's just like, damn, bro, like, like, is we not married? You coming home to me, like,
yeah. But
you on national television, grinding on this dude, got the cheeks out, the ultimate disrespect. She couldn't have done anything worse, in my personal opinion. Mm-hmm. And, you know, all these people backing him, but at the end of the day, it's like, you know, you lost your husband because of your actions. Like, whether if you were drunk or whatever, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's an excuse. At the end of the day, above everything, you're a mother and you're a wife. You feel what I'm saying? Whether if you're the breadwinner or not, like there's certain standards that you have to hold as that in those titles. If you don't want to do that, like don't be a husband, don't have kids, like just have fun. You feel what I'm saying? Like just do your thing. But to go in a public place like that, embarrass your partner, and then like, you know, get into this back and forth about all that. And you know, mind you, Usher had went to other women as well. She was the only woman that was in a relationship that had acted like that. You know, it was another example where she had went up to a famous model. I can't remember her name right now. And he was going to dance with her and he reached out for her. And the girl looked at him, like respectfully looked at him, got up and went and sat on her man's lap. Kyle Kuzma. Mm-hmm. Went and sat on his lap. And the first thing he says is like, "Oh, she chose. She's a good one." Even Usher knows. Like, come on now. Like, yeah,
we all know.
we all know.
All of us men know when the girl choosing up, and she, if you give the opportunity, she will mess with you. Yeah,
Exactly.
You married or not. Yeah, you know,
Exactly.
or a relationship or not.
And it's crazy. That girl ain't married. That girl acting like that. She not married. She ain't got kids with him. But she made a choice. Like, I'm not finna get up and start dancing with you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not finna get up and show my ass to you. And for what? Like, I'm chilling with my mans. First of all, she came with her mans. So it's like, that's another step. Like, that's another thing to it. And then when you go to the other example, is another video. Usher comes over, daps up the dude, and then, you know, he looks at his girl like, can she dance? Like, yeah. She gets up. She stays right next to her man. She doesn't walk over to Usher and hold his hand, start dancing on him. She stood right there and started dancing and stayed right next to her man. Right? Damn, that's crazy. So Kiki was the only one that did all that. You feel me? From the videos that I seen.
Yeah.
So it's just like a certain level of respect that she did not have for her man at that point. But for you, what do you think about that situation?
Yeah, but then they try to be like, oh, he's insecure. Oh, he's manipulative. Oh, he's controlling. Like, no, that's not at all. Like, you have to realize, like, people that want a long-lasting relationship, want a forever thing that a lot of people want. A lot of people want that one person, right? It's like, as a man, there is complete boundaries. Even as a woman, there's boundaries, right? Like, in a relationship. As a man, especially, it's like universal. It's like, as a man, you are not to want to have your woman be groped by another man or dancing with another man like that, especially revealing clothes like that. Like, especially if you're a mother, you're a wife, you are a reputation of me. You're a reflection of me, you know, like my leadership, who you're with, like your man, all the girls are like, oh yeah, go ahead, like, you know, live your life, girl, and stuff like that. And yet she just maybe potentially just destroyed a beautiful thing that she had with a great man and a child. What, over to wear a dress just to live in the moment, to you know, to get turned up like that, and in the hands of another man? Like, I don't care if it's Usher or anything like that. Like, this is why I think, you know, women say they want this, they want a traditional man, all that stuff, but they're not willing to sacrifice that little thing just to keep a great relationship. So it's kind of like, you know, accept accountability. That was a mistake. I also don't agree that he did it public too. Like, he like put it out there on Twitter and stuff like that. I think that's something you have behind closed doors and you talk to her, but I don't knock him for that. Like, I understand it too. I think it was a good thing that he did for us to not only talk about it, but to also show, like, if you want to be married, you want to have kids and stuff like that, this is not a good look. This is something that you sacrifice. You can have the urges, you can have the want to do those things, but you get points and you get rewarded with a beautiful family and real contentment, real happiness when you don't act on that urge of going to a Usher concert and dancing on another man, or letting him grab you, or you wearing these revealing clothes and stuff like that. Like, because a lot of girls would be like, oh, I dress like that just to look good for myself. No, you fucking don't. It's like saying I only post selfies on Instagram for myself. I post half naked pictures, gym pictures, angles of me doing squats where the camera's facing my ass cheek, so when I walk away, I only do it for myself. No, you do it for attention. You do it for male attention. That's the reason why you do it. And the same reason why you probably don't respond to those men, those DMs, except if it's that one man that you might like. Like, you have to remember, like, we're not ignorant. Where you could sit here and be in this delusional thing that, like, you know, she was just living her life, blah, blah, he's controlling. That's not the truth. They probably had a great relationship. And Keke Palmer, a lot of people love Keke Palmer. And by the way, this doesn't mean she's a bad person, you know? Like, this doesn't mean she's evil. It doesn't mean she deserves the worst. She made a mistake, and she chose her friends and her and the perception and just looking a certain way, feeling a certain way over real substance of a relationship. And like, for me, I don't. Yeah, if I would have felt the same way, like the way he did. You know, I would have probably handled it different. But everything that he felt, everything he said was 100% accurate. Like, validated feelings. Just because a man doesn't want you to dress a certain way does not mean he's controlling. No, he actually has a lot more respect for you than you have for yourself. Because when you dress like that in public, what perception do you get? All the guys are, there's the reason why guys are hollering at you. There's a reason why guys are even smacking your ass, sexually harassing you. It's because you're almost opening the door. Like, you know, you're showing everything that you have. and you're kind of promoting yourself as like a product to, come say hi, like, easy button type thing. Like, and I think women fail to realize that they sometimes, like, a lot of times, people just lack accountability and lack their ability to see what they're doing is actually wrong. And that's why all these things are causing problems in your relationship or even with yourself. Like, you have to dress like that to feel good. You have to do these certain things to feel good. You have to drink this alcohol to feel good. And honestly, bro, I definitely agree. And I love that not only were people pushing back on like, oh, Keke Palmer needs to leave that guy or whatever, but people were having that guy's back too. And kind of similar to the Jonah Hill thing. Like, a lot of people are like fighting back. Yeah. Like Jonah Hill.
What do you mean? What do you mean the Jonah Hill thing?
Yeah, you know Jonah Hill, right? The actor. Like, an ex-girlfriend of his of like 5 years ago, something like that. Like, he's getting married, I think. He's having a kid, I think, right now. But a relationship from the past, she posted like text messages from like years ago.
She has text messages from 5 years ago?
Yeah, and posted it online. And I guess she was like a surfer, like maybe a model, I don't know. Like, there was boundaries that was in text messages, and very very, very, very calm, collective. There was messages that were exposed saying, look, I have boundaries and you're crossing them by hanging out with other men. Literally had a list of these things that he was saying, like, I don't like this. I don't agree with this. If you want to do that, that gives you happiness, that's fine. But we can't continue this relationship. Very, very articulated, very respectful, very calm. In the text messages, like, no yelling, like, exclamation points or whatever, all that. Like, it was very direct. It's like, look, these are my boundaries. You're doing these things. I don't like it. If you want to pursue these things because it makes you feel good, this is what you prioritize, that's fine, but it's not going to be with me. But then she tried to make it seem like, oh, girls, never be with a man like this. Call me if you need another girl to talk to, somebody who wants to control you and stuff like that. And like, look at 5 years later, he's happy. I think he has a wife. He's going to have a kid. And now you want to post this because you're unhappy? Well, you want to signal that, oh, I went out with Jonah Hill. You want to try to shame him because he's actually happy and he found himself the right woman that followed those boundaries. Like, what you won't do, another woman will. Don't think that you're not replaceable, because no person is worth the headache. If I can just find somebody that can align with my values and can see life to what it is, not what you've been fed on social media, not your single depressed friends are trying to hold you back and trying to bring them into the single life and be a degenerate. Like, if you want to have that life, that's fine. That's your choice. But don't stay here and try to like create this delusion and lack accountability and try to frame Jonah Hill for having morals and principles for what he wants in a future wife, a mother of his children, a relationship that he wants. And they were trying to project him to be like narcissistic. Mm-hmm. So me having a preference, me having boundaries is narcissistic. That's what I'm saying. Like, that type of shit. I love that people are pushing back now, though. Like, yeah, there's people that are in delusional land, and like, they are like, oh yeah, he's narcissistic, manipulating. But there's also people that also like that. I don't see nothing wrong in this message. What are you talking about? I love that. Like, I'm on that side. I'm on the logical, open-minded, but then also have boundaries. If you want to do that stuff, that's cool. You're just not the person for me. Let's break it off, please. And which they did, obviously, because he got another woman. And she's probably miserable, unhappy, and posted that just a signal, maybe get followers, shame him, defame his character. Like, we need to push back on that, because these are the same people that are unhappy, that are taking pills, getting drunk, having senseless sex, doing dumb shit, like, that's not even fulfilling. And we're trying to encourage that, but then, put down somebody who has boundaries, that actually understands life and really wants to have a great family and have a good foundation and actually be content with themselves and family. Like, yeah, it's almost similar to the Keke Palmer thing that just happened too.
Dang, bro, I actually didn't hear about that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's actually wild.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, bro. Everybody's just caught up in their hedonistic ways, and we really need to like wake people up from this shit. You know?
See, that's so wild. There's always going to be a cop out when it comes to women. There's always going to be people who are protective, regardless if they're right or wrong. Kind of like the video I explained to you. I'm gonna send you the video after this when the woman was basically saying like, you know, she wasn't ready for the child and she's, you know, she'd rather put him on child support or she'll drop the child off at the fire station because she wants to go to Miami. Like, bro, it was people in the comments defending her, and then it was a guy who made a clip defending her like, oh, the guy needs to do more to support her, that yada yada yada. She's probably suffering from postpartum depression. She's probably doing this, this, and this. Okay, what if he's going through shit too? What if he didn't want the child too? He still has to go to work. He still has to work a 9 to 5. He still has to do X, Y, and Z. Like what about the dad? Is it all just how she feels? Is it all how she's feeling? She wants to go to Miami. What is he supposed to do? Oh, you're good. I'm working 14 hours a day, 12 hours a day. Go ahead, go to Miami. Let me know how it is. Whoop. You think you don't want to go on trips? You know, what is your purpose behind that? Do you want to help it all because you're not working? You know, but you want to do all these trips and do all these things with no bread. You're living in Section 8 and you're complaining about it and complaining about the child that you didn't want. And when the dude tells you, okay, I'll take you to court then. She's like, I'll sign over all my rights right now. You can have her. You can have our daughter. It's wow. That's the type of mentalities that are out there. They're so into the now, looking good, posting the trip. Oh, I went to Miami. I went to here. I went to here. $0 in your savings. $10 in your checkings. Everything you get is from finessing men or sugar daddies. It's just like, it's kind of lame. It's like, it's damn near like having your thumb up on the freeway. You know what I mean? Asking for change or like, you know, it's everything's all transactional. It's just kind of, it's degrading in a way. Like, yeah, if you're working and you're grinding, you want to do those things, you know, that's fine. But it's like, you got to have your priorities straight. When you make a certain decision, like getting married, having a kid, you can't be grinding on Usher. Like you make these decisions, but then you want to live the exact same single life that you've been living. What's the difference between you in a relationship and you single? A lot of situations, there is no difference. Oh, I have sex with the same person. Okay, you still go out. You're still giving out your phone number. You're still giving out your social media. You're still doing X, Y, and Z. What is the purpose? Why do you want to be with this person? Just say you got married? Say you got a house? Say you got someone that's taking care of you? Like, it just doesn't make logical sense.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. It's in that video already is like the examples that we're talking about, like hedonistic. We're like so out of touch with what really is important in life. And by the way, I feel like when we talk to, like, we want to reach all men of all ages, men of all ages, women of all ages to see, because we're not coming from a bad place, you know, like we're not trying to bash women. We're not trying to bash men. We're not trying to, you know, monetize off of the weaknesses and us judging people. Like, that's not really what we're doing.
No.
Yeah.
No, we're not.
Like, we're literally talking about the truth of what's going on. Like, that's what we're all about, the truth. We're trying to seek the truth in life. We're trying to help people. We're trying to like get people out of this shit, because women are like self-destructing. Like, they're trying to focus on a career instead of a family. You think like, I could focus on a career now and then have a family later. You're not going to be able to get that man when you're 40 that you wanted at your 20s. You know, you're not going to get a valued man, a principled man. The chances of that is very rare, honestly. Like, you could, you know, hope for the rarity. Like, maybe there is a chance, or, you know, I'd rather focus on that 1% chance I could get that man. But that's what's important to start now. Like, you know, when you're at the right of age of, like, I don't know, like, you know, 21 and plus, whatever, when you're getting into relationships, you should have like prerequisites of like what you're trying to look for in a man, in a woman, of like a future wife, a future husband. What do you want? What do you align yourself with? Do you want to have kids? Do you not want to have kids? And don't just start messing with just random people, because you're going to end up being a single mother, or you end up being a single father. You're going to be in that position that man is. That sounds like a great man that's trying, but has a woman that's hedonistic, that he probably met at the club or at the bar because she looked good. That's why you got to not stop having sex and try to look for partners that only just look good. Obviously, you want somebody that's attractive, but you have to put into play the more bigger, important things. It's like their morals, their values, what they prioritize, and if this person's really worth trying to be with. Because looks is not it no more for me. Like, I want obviously attractive, good women, and I'll always find it. But more than ever now, you gotta like, beat around the bush and try to find like the right woman that actually has God in their life. That's not hedonistic. It's not all about how they feel, like, because nowadays, man, you see a lot of times, especially like I see a lot of like single mothers, a lot of single mothers that, and I don't know who to blame. I don't know, and I'm not the person to judge. But you see a lot of single mothers. Basically, I see is a lot of useless, wasteless sex because of looks, and then you end up figuring out who that person really is, and now you don't want to be with that person, either because you don't want to put in the work or your values don't align and it's too much work. And I truly believe it's really that. I don't believe it's, I mean, obviously there's different values of opinions and stuff like that, but as a man, like, you need to really be careful of the women you're sleeping with. I really don't think you should be sleeping with just for the gratification of sex. And that's a hard thing to do, urges, temptations, because you're feeding this, you're creating these type of women in this world that your son might meet one day, and it's kind of like, I want my son to find a good woman as quick as possible. Like, get the best woman he can, have children, start a family. And if you want more women, I mean, there's like ways that you can do it, but that you shouldn't have multiple women if you can't take care of all of them. I truly do feel that. And, it's a waste of time too, man, having senseless sex. This goes for women and men. Like, women are the gatekeepers of sex. All your body count is based on you. Men's body count, they have to literally struggle and try to get that. Either they lie, which I don't agree with, or they're just themselves and they're high value, so women throw themselves. But as a man, you need to restrain. Like, don't just waste your energy on women and having sex. And as a woman, be very careful who you allow inside of you, like inside your temple, basically, like, because there is a soul connection, soul ties when you have sex. Especially if you're on birth control, you're having like unprotected sex, and excuse my language. Nah, I'm not gonna say it. But like, you're having like senseless sex, and like, he's, putting life in you, but you can't even have kids because you're on birth control and stuff like that. There is some psychological things that happen inside of you, and you connect, and then you guys go your separate ways, and you have this connection to this guy, and you just keep having souls going inside you, damn near. Like, there's literally damaging women and also men too. You're contributing to this bullshit. Like, before, I used to be at a certain time where I was just having senseless sex too with women, and I realized like how exhausting that was. Like, I'm just draining energy instead of focusing and getting closer to God, or even opening the idea of like, if God is real and a religion, or instead of focusing on my career, instead of focusing on wanting to start a family, instead of focusing on like getting my family out the mud, like, I'm over here just choosing to just sleep with women, instead of like what really matters. And that's what I'm saying. We need to like wake people up, because a lot of people are sleeping right now.
Yeah, no, that's facts. The system is made for people to not wake up. Mm-hmm. Like, just imagine if everybody was on their health, everybody was, on their fitness grind. Imagine everybody took, made their families a priority, that didn't take that job and be like, this is more important than everything that I'm dealing with right now. And, actually took the things that matter, the relationship with God, health, purpose, their drive, like relationship with kids, like, take that stuff serious. It would, how much millions and millions and millions upon dollars it would affect these companies, like you were talking about earlier. Like, imagine, like, that would be so many patients away from the pharmaceuticals. That would be so many people, not invested into these companies, that they actually need the person that works 7 days a week, 6 days a week, 10-hour days. Like, people actually looking at and doing research on salaries and how it's actually not beneficial, because they have you 24 hours out of the day and you can work any time of the day, but they're going to pay you the exact same amount. You know what I mean? They're going to dangle in front of you, hey, we want your life for this much. Mm-hmm. And you're signing that contract, and you're like, okay, cool. Like, but you don't, well, what about, the time you're spending with your family, your kids? You get that phone call. Oh, I got to work. Oh, okay, I got to work. I got to do this. I got to do that. You're putting all that above them. And like you said earlier with, I forgot what you said, but investing all that time into a company, not having kids, and then, you're at the age where you can't have kids, and then that company fires you. Now what do you do? All that years, in all reality, yeah, you got that money, but it's wasted, because what is money after, you're gone? You can't take it with you. What did you build? You feel what I'm saying? And it's just it's more important to build something. That's a lot of thoughts that I've had, recently, like, wanting to have a junior, wanting to have a wife. Like, I want to do it the right way. I want to have a wife. I want to get married. Like, I want to have kids. I want to have stability. I want to have, I want to have my own tribe. You feel what I'm saying? I want to teach them and guide them in the right way to go. You feel me? So, I think that's the most important. Like, if you don't have that, then it's like, what is your purpose in life? What is, this life that God bless you with? What is the purpose for you being here?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's why I was like we have to really empower ourselves, like really start like prioritizing our health, our family. Like, before I remember, because of the marriages that I've seen, I was like, bro, I never want to get married. And my parents divorced, and I was like, I don't want that at all. Like, I just seen it open up my eyes. I'm like, marriage is like a terrible thing. I even said, like, it's almost in your benefit as a man that marriage is probably the worst thing for you. It's to take care of the woman a lot more, like the laws and stuff like that in marriage, which makes sense, because as a man, usually the man's the provider, the one's making the money, and the woman is usually like supporting him the whole time, and then the man just wants a divorce or cheat, whatever, and then ends up just wanting to divorce this woman, and now she has nothing. So now I understand the concept of like the reason why the laws and the thing behind marriage is to really protect the women, which makes complete sense. But then, there's some good women, there's some bad women that take advantage, and they, take as much money as they can. They, crazy month, like $200,000 child support, like crazy amount. Or if you make $30,000 a year, they're trying to take $1,000 every month from you for child support. It's kind of like, man, like, that's why it's so important that we need to look and find the real truth. Like, look in the truth. Don't look at what they're telling you. You can't even trust Google no more. You can't even trust social media. Like, they're showing you what they want to show you. Like, you need to go on these other outlets. I don't even use Google no more. Like, I use this thing called like DuckDuckGo, and it literally shows you, bro. Like, it literally shows you, like, if you search something, it literally show you Facebook, TikTok, all these things that they stop from gathering your information. Yeah, so people don't realize, like, you have all these apps. When you go on like the internet browser and stuff like that, these social media platforms are literally following to see what you like and what you're searching to then show you on your feed. You know how people be like, oh, I'm talking about this, or I'm searching on the internet of like what to shop, and then it ends up being an advertisement on like Instagram. It's because of data, right? And so, like, you're being manipulated, basically. Like, at first I was kind of like, oh, who gives a fuck, what they show me, whatever. Like, maybe because I want it, whatever. But then it's like, if you feel sad and you're searching antidepressants on the internet, and it keeps showing you all these good reviews and all this stuff, but it don't show you the side effects, it almost is manipulating you to take this stuff. But then if you search like antidepressants on DuckDuckGo, it's showing you the benefits, but then the cons of it. So it's giving you the truth. It's giving you the option to think before you act. You're not being manipulated to buy this one thing, and you're not being manipulated of like these research institutes, these studies that are very manipulated and subjective. They don't give all the information, but they make you feel like this justifies why your ideology is the right one. Like, even though it's probably flawed and wrong, but there's a message there's a propaganda that's being shown to you. Like, you need to really, really, like, that's what I'm saying, like, meditating, getting closer to God, staying away from social media a lot, like, just focusing on like look at what your parents did, look at what maybe before them, and if they weren't good examples, look at what great people did that contributed to create the Malcolm X's of the world, the Martin Luther Kings, certain athletes. Look into the prophets, look into the Bible, the Quran, like how we've got this far in life, and the universal truth of how important it is to prioritize family, morals, and principles that are in the reflection of what God wanted, and follow it. Because, man, I'm telling you, man, it's a business out here. Like, people don't really want you to do good. People don't want you to think. People want you to just follow, just shut up and listen type of mentality, and just be a consumer, eat all the food, drink all the drinks, party, go to concerts, all these like, worshiping, like, what is it, paganism, like all these like things that they want you to be like, wasting money on Black Friday, like you buying all these materialistic things, making your life about trips and about the clothes that you wear and all that stuff. Like, they want you to just be a consumer. They don't want you to be a thinker. They don't want you to create generational wealth. They want you to be a slave to your emotions and your desires. And you have to wake up from that, because this is why your life sucks. This is why you're depressed. This is why you're sad. This is why you have anxiety. This is why you're single. This is why you can't find a man. This is why you can't find a woman. Like, all this stuff, like, you're not realizing, like, the reason why your life is the way it is because how you live your life and how you think about life. And you got to take control.
Yeah, exactly. Your life won't change until you change your mind and you change the choices that you make. So, I mean, you just hit everything on the head. That was bars.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I've been thinking, I've been doing the work, man. Bars. I'm telling you, I really live in it, though, because, bro, I'm telling you, like, when you think about it yourself, though, like, what are some things that maybe you realize from talking today, or maybe just the last few months, that you started to think, like, man, I don't really want that, or, man, maybe I've been looking at this girl's looks instead of what I know, what I want from a woman. Example, that was just an example I was giving, but like, there were some things that you're starting to realize. You're like, damn, man, I didn't realize how much I needed to really focus on this instead of this, how much I need to focus on this instead of that. Sometimes I need to stop talking about this bullshit gossip of drama. I need to really focus on my relationship, my purpose, and my health. Like, has there been some things that you've been starting to realize, like, man, I've been valuing this when I should have really, really been valuing this instead?
So, two things. One, like, career-wise, is like, kind of going back and reevaluating, like, okay, what is something that I want to do? Is, with the cutting hair, like, and I forgot the scripture that I had read, but it was basically saying, like, anything that you choose to pursue to do it like you're doing it for the Lord. Do it like you're doing it for God, like, and put your all into it, basically. So I was just thinking about it. I'm like, man, like, if I'm going to do this cutting hair stuff, like, I'm going to be the best fucking barber that I could possibly be. If I can be the best barber in the world, that's what I'm going to strive to be. I'm going to watch videos. I'm going to wake up. I don't care if I'm tired or not. I'm going to watch videos. I'm going to practice. I don't care if I suck at the beginning. Like, I'm going to get the reps in. I'm going to network. I'm going to talk with people. I'm going to do everything that I possibly can do to be the best version possible. I'm applying the same thing that I apply for football to cutting hair. So I was like, man, I need to take this as far as I could take it. And I'm not going to quit. I'm going to be consistent. I'm going to be X, Y, and Z. I want to have a plan. Diving into that and knowing, like, okay, I know I want to go into the entrepreneurial field. And that's my leverage to, it's like a stepping stool to get to the levels that I want to get with real estate, with, being a boss, like with being a certain way. Like, that's going to leverage me with my money and doing what I want to do. But also another thing that, I've kind of have came to realization and stuff that I've just looked at, and it's just like exactly what I want from a woman, or exactly what I want from my wife. With seeing all the, the videos of the stuff that I've seen, with the Kiki thing, with the other examples of the things that happen, people getting and marrying women and then finding out 4 years into the marriage when they have a 4-year-old that child isn't even theirs. And they do the maternity test, and it's like, wow, like, all 3 of these kids that we had, only one of them is mine. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know exactly what I want from my woman. I know exactly what I can provide for my woman. I know exactly where I want to go, and it can either align or it can't. There's no in between. I don't have time to play. I don't have time to, explain certain things that should be common sense. Like, I know exactly what I want from my wife. You feel what I'm saying? So that's like some things that I've come to realization with, and it, like, a lot of things that I expect, can be looked at, oh, this is controlling, this is that. Like, at the end of the day, the most critical decision I can make as a man, regardless of what anyone says, is picking the right woman and marrying the right woman. You feel what I'm saying? Because all those qualities that you and your woman have are going to be passed to your children, whether positive and negative. They're all going to be passed to your children, right? So I want to build a culture within my tribe that is positivity, love, respect. I want to teach them morals, principles. I want to teach them about God, teach them the truth. And like, there's nobody that could tell me like that's not the right thing to do for my children. Because at the end of the day, I know it's going to work. I know God's guiding me in a certain way. God's giving me a vision for a reason. God's putting this laser focus in me for a reason. I know, because like, bro, even the day before I started cutting hair, bro, I prayed and was like, man, give me sight of like what I should do. Because I had a list of like 4 things. I said, God, please give me a list of like give me something like to where like I can, help my family. I can be financially free. Like I can, do X, Y, and Z. Please help me to where like I don't have to stress on bills and woo, and I can build something with it, right? And because I wasn't sure if I wanted to go back personal train, if I wanted to cut hair, if I wanted to go back and do Amazon, if I should just dive right into, the firefighting. And like just something came over me and I just like made the decision the next day where I went and got my clippers. I got a chair. I bought a chair from my boy Mingo. I know you know Mingo. Shout out Mingo. And he showed love. I bought the chair from him. He gave me extra pairs of clippers and trimmers. Like for no reason. Gave me like a $500 chair and like $400 clippers. So in all reality, I invested like $500 into myself. Ended up getting $1,000, $1,100 worth of equipment, and building a space and a frame to where it's like, this is me. This is where I'm building from the ground up. And I know like no matter where I'm starting, you've seen the garage. Like no matter where I'm starting, I was like, this can lead to so much more, And I'm like, this is where I'm starting and how I'm cutting hair and people DMing me or like even this first month, bro, I've seen so much growth and where I've gone, all praise to the man upstairs. Like it gave me the vision and allowed me to learn this trade and I'm only on the tip of the iceberg, like barely learning stuff like YouTube University, like not even at school yet, but I know this can be something that branches off that not only gives me a financial platform to do the things I want to do, but it can be something that could set my family up for life.
Yeah. See, I feel like that's the thing I want to talk about too. Is kind of like, how people always just say like, oh, be consistent, don't give up, right? That's like, but I feel like sometimes you have to give examples, right? It's like in a spiritual like example I could say like real quick is like, okay, there was one time where I was feeling real depressed. I didn't like where I was at. I didn't like nothing about my life. I didn't like where I was going. I didn't feel good about myself. Very hedonistic ways. And then I started researching like, well, what can I do? Like, what is depression? What is sadness? I started like weirdly got to the point, I was doing a lot of research. I got to the point where about nutrition, food, fasting. I was desperate, I was just like, I was close to giving up, and then I was like, nah, I can't. Like something inside me was like, my heart wasn't closed. Like my heart was still open. It was still there. And I was like, I can't, I had people, I'm the oldest out of all my siblings. My dad is, he's trying his best. My mom is out in Mexico. I was like, the girl that I'm with, I was like, man, I just don't know if this is the girl for me. I'm confused. Like, I've lost frame of myself. I lost respect for myself, and I'm in a relationship that is not healthy. And then I just started, researching. I got tired of it, but I didn't give up. I was just kind of like, I got to figure something out. Like, that's one thing my dad showed me, because my dad's an immigrant. And I feel like when you have, like, immigrant family members, I think we're ungrateful to see, like, their perseverance. I mean, I have a lot of family. It's a joke all the time. But, like, they cross the border, like, you see videos. We used to joke around, like. But think about that, bro. Think about that. Like, think about that, though, man. Like, somebody outside the country sacrifices themselves. People don't realize. People get human trafficked that cross the border. People get killed that cross the border. There's constantly dead bodies that are found in the river of children, women, men that crossing the border. People will literally sacrifice their life to come to America to try just even have the ability to find a way to escape where they're at, and then also make something for themselves and for their future family. And so I'm like, what? I'm going to fucking end my life because I don't have what I want, or I don't know, or I don't know better. I'm judging myself. I'm judging where I'm at. and I'm going to end my life based on how I feel. And I thought that was so selfish. And I know they say, you know, like for people who are suicidal, like to say that they're selfish or to think about what you're going to do to others is wrong. That's literally the fucking recipe. That's literally the key, is to understand like you shouldn't really just give up on yourself because of how you feel at that moment. And this goes beyond suicidal and spiritual, but it's also your career or a passion that you have. Just because you don't see the results, just because you feel lost, just because you're not seeing no improvements, doesn't mean you should just give up. Like, you have to remind yourself of like you're doing it for others. You've seen other people do extraordinary things that you see on TV all the time. These are regular people too, from the Tom Brady's to Malcolm X, to the Barack Obamas, to family members that have been through stuff, parents that have lost children, to people who overcame disease and cancer, like people who, you know, lost their legs in a car accident. Like, people still didn't give up. So when you see people like that, that's another reflection of you. That's you in another life. And so you could like then look beyond that and realize like, I just got to keep going. And keep going means like just keep trying every single day. You're going to mess up. You're going to have times of doubt. People are going to give up on you. New people are going to come in. New people are going to come out. Family's going to tell you this is not worth it. You're wasting your time. Your own self, your own thoughts. You're going to be comparing yourself to other people that are in your skill. You're going to, something that you've been doing for 5 years or maybe 1 year, you see somebody who did it in 6 months and is way better than you. You're going to compare yourself. You're like, oh, maybe I'm just not the person to do it. No, that person just didn't quit either. Their journey was different than yours, but it's still a journey. So it's kind of like, you know, you have to work through all these psychological things that are going to want to make you stop. And you just gotta just be willing to embrace every emotion, every thought that comes into your head, every family member that's gonna tell you no. Like, you just gotta keep trying. That's what I always say. Like, just do something each day, just one thing better than you did yesterday. Like, I had a person that was like, that's an alcoholic. He came to talk to me and told me that he's been drinking for the last 2 years every day. I talked about it in the last podcast. And he was like, I just don't know what to do. I don't want to go to rehab. I don't think I need rehab. Like, he's Mormon, and he has a family. He has children. You know, great guy. Used to be a bodybuilder. And I just told him, look, just take it one day at a time. You say you drink a whole bottle. The next day, drink 75% of that bottle. The next day, drink 70% of that bottle. Just little by little. Every day, just something small, like just as simple as just making your bed every day. Simple as just, you want to run a marathon, just go for a walk every day. Increase it to you run a mile. You know, like, just do it little by little, because you're not just gonna change like that. Like, all your habits, like it was years of habits or days or months that led you to be in this way, that in this funk. The same way you got in is almost the same way you got to get out. So you just have to just do little things every day, just like how you did little things that led you to be addicted to social media. The same way it led you to be addicted to drinking, addicted to being hedonistic and always making it about you. And this is why you're depressed, because you worship yourself as the almighty of everything. And if you don't feel good, then I shouldn't feel good. You know, like, all that stuff you have to really work through and just keep trying. As long as you don't give up, you will see. You're going to look back, all those little things you did, you didn't quit, you didn't try, and you're going to look back, you're going to be like, damn. Like, I remember the beginning, I really thought, like, I just had no hope, and I just wanted to give up. And then here I am making money, doing something that I never thought I could make money from. Here I am improving and seeing my growth from my first haircut to my 1,000th haircut. Like, and it's because you just didn't quit. And so, like, I think we need to, like, explain things and, like, give examples and not be too cliche, because it's so easy to be like, you know, somebody's like, I'm depressed, and just telling them, go get a six-pack, go get it. I know it would work, but some people just don't register in their head. It's like, you just need to get the fuck up and do something. That's all you need to do. And I don't even care what the fuck it is. You just got to get up and start. And then you lead your way up, and then now you have straight belief in yourself, you know?
Yeah, fact. Man, you couldn't have said it any better, bro. The main message he's saying is keep going. Things are gonna get better, even if it's not tomorrow, even if it's not the next day. Keep pushing, because you will get to a place where you couldn't even thought you could have got to there. Like I was a child. Like I had a thought of like, man, I want to play pro ball. I want to be one of the people, you know, in the NFL, or I want to play D1 football. Like, but you don't really see, you can see it, but you're like, man, I don't know how I'm going to get there. But if you just keep grinding, keep going, keep that faith in God, bro, you will get there no matter what. You can get through anything. You can get depression, get through a breakup, get through anything if you put your mind to it. And I think that's what you were saying.
Yeah, no,
But,
100%.
You know, I think that's gonna wrap it up for today, bro. That was beautiful. I appreciated exactly like all your illustrations, you going into detail about all these things. And I feel like this topic alone, like the stuff that we talked about right here, is like, in my personal opinion, this is one of my favorite episodes.
Yeah.
Because of like the severity of the things that we talked about. Like, and regardless if we were on a podcast or not, this is my mentality. Like, even if you didn't agree with my mentality or with certain things, I would still have that same mentality. Just if I didn't agree with you on certain mentality or things that you believed in, you would still have that same mentality. Like, it does. Like, this isn't like a TV personality like that we have. Like, this is actually us. So, you know, that type of stuff is appreciated, and you know, it's respected, because at the end of the day, like, you know, with all the things we talked about with, you know, early on with the Keke Palmer things, hey, right is right, wrong is wrong. You should be trying to be a better person and build the life that you want to live with your family, you know. So, you know, I think that's gonna wrap it up. You know, Wanaveli, I appreciate you. We love and appreciate every one of y'all that are supporting us, and you know, have just stuck with us every single episode, every week, through every controversial like topic. You know, you guys have like genuinely built like a community within, you know, Self Revelations, and we appreciate you guys so much. So we thank you again for tuning in with us, and we'll see you next time on Self Revelations.
Sheesh.